There comes a point in your life when things stop feeling the same, not because the world has changed, but because something inside you has shifted in a way you cannot fully explain. The noise that once distracted you begins to lose its grip, the validation you once chased starts to feel empty, and the version of yourself you spent years building no longer feels real. You cannot go back, but you are not fully forward either. You are in between, and this space feels unfamiliar, almost unsettling. This is where a rare transformation begins, a stage very few people reach, not because it is hidden, but because it requires letting go of illusions most are too attached to. This is what many would call the Sophia Stage, a deep awakening where you no longer seek truth outside, but begin to uncover it within yourself. It does not arrive suddenly, it unfolds quietly, through realizations that feel both liberating and heavy at the same time. And if you are here, you will start noticing signs, subtle at first, but undeniable once you see them. You begin to detach from the need to be understood. Not because you have become cold, but because you realize that most people are only capable of meeting you at the level of their own awareness. You stop over-explaining yourself, you stop trying to translate your inner world for those who are not ready to see it. There is a quiet acceptance that not everyone will understand you, and strangely, that no longer disturbs you the way it once did. This is not isolation, it is clarity. You are no longer dependent on external validation to confirm your inner reality. At the same time, you become deeply aware of your own patterns. You start noticing how you react, why you feel certain emotions, where your triggers come from. Things that once felt automatic now become visible. You catch yourself in moments where you would have reacted impulsively before. And this awareness creates a gap, a space between feeling and action. In that space, you begin to choose differently. This is where real control begins, not by suppressing emotions, but by understanding them so clearly that they no longer dominate you. Another shift happens in your relationships. You start seeing people as they are, not as you imagine them to be. The projections fall away. You recognize where you once idealized, where you once ignored red flags, where you once held on to connections out of fear rather than truth. Some relationships naturally fade, not with conflict, but with quiet distance. Others deepen, but only because they are built on something real, not illusion. You stop forcing connections, and you stop chasing people who cannot meet you where you are. There is also a growing comfort with solitude. Not loneliness, but solitude. You begin to enjoy your own presence in a way you never did before. Silence is no longer something to escape, it becomes something you seek. In that silence, you hear yourself more clearly. Your thoughts are not as chaotic, your emotions not as overwhelming. You begin to feel grounded within yourself, less dependent on external noise to distract you from what is inside. You also start to question everything you once accepted without thought. Beliefs, values, societal expectations, even your own identity. You realize how much of what you thought was you was actually conditioned, shaped by your environment, your upbringing, your need to belong. And this realization can feel destabilizing at first. But it is also freeing because now you have the opportunity to rebuild consciously, to choose who you want to be instead of unconsciously repeating what you were given. Another sign is the way you handle pain. You no longer run from it the same way. You don't distract yourself as easily, you don't suppress it as quickly. Instead, you sit with it. You observe it. You try to understand what it is showing you. Pain becomes less of an enemy and more of a signal. It still hurts, but it no longer controls you in the same way. There is a deeper resilience forming, one that is not based on avoidance, but on understanding. You may also notice a subtle shift in your ambitions. The things you once chased with intensity begin to lose their importance. Not because you have no goals, but because your definition of success changes. It is no longer about proving yourself, impressing others, or reaching some external standard. It becomes about alignment, about living in a way that feels true to you. This shift can feel confusing, especially when the world around you continues to chase things that no longer resonate with you. There is also an increased sensitivity to truth. You start to feel when something is off, even if you cannot logically explain it. You notice inconsistencies in people, in situations, in yourself. You cannot ignore what you once ignored. This can make life feel heavier at times because you see more, you feel more, and you cannot easily return to ignorance. But this sensitivity is also a form of awareness, a deeper connection to reality that most people never fully develop. And finally, there is a quiet sense of inner stability that begins to emerge. Not constant happiness, not perfection, but a grounded presence. You are not as easily shaken by external events. You still feel, you still struggle, but there is something within you that remains steady. A sense that no matter what happens, you will be able to face it. This is not confidence in the traditional sense. It is something deeper, something earned through facing yourself honestly. If you recognize these signs, understand this: you are not lost. You are not falling apart. You are stepping into a level of awareness that requires you to let go of what you once relied on. It is not easy and it is not comfortable, but it is real. And very few people are willing to go this far within themselves. This stage is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming whole. It is about integrating what you once avoided, seeing what you once ignored, and living without the illusions that once defined you. And once you enter this stage, there is no going back to who you were before. Only forward, deeper into yourself, into a truth that cannot be borrowed, only discovered.